Okay, this is a video for how I fixed my E46 handbrake lever. It wouldn't lock. Locked one day fine, then all of a sudden it wouldn't. I guess it jerked up on it too hard or whatever, and that's what happened. This rascal here is what causes the problem. And I don't have time to show how to take the console apart. There's other videos on YouTube show how to do it. Mine's an 04 330 Ci. Doesn't make any difference. They're all pretty much the same of that era, the E36 or 46 rather. Anyway, let me show you this handbrake right here. When you take the whole thing out, it looks like this. This plunger just fits in there like that, this U-shaped down. This will be sitting in there like that. What this does, I'm doing this all one-handed, this pivots right here on this hole. There's a rivet in there, and you got to grind the head off to get this stupid thing out and figure out how it worked, because I couldn't see inside it. So I'm saving you all the trouble of figuring what's wrong with it. I had to make a new rivet. I didn't want to put a bolt and a washer and a nut and all that crap on it. I just made a rivet. I've got a lathe here, so I just did it. But this end right here is what rides on this ratchet. Try to hold this open with my finger and at the same time it fits in there like that basically, and it clicks, click click click. When it sits down, it does that. Well, when you push the plunger in, it releases it. The best way to show you is clean this crap off this bench and kind of demonstrate this little round part. See how that's rounded on that end? And it's not sharp, but it's sharper. This rides in here like this. I'm just going to have to do this one-handed. You can see how that kind of would work. Let's try it this way. Crap. I don't have enough hands and there's nobody here to help me. Pretend that's a pivot point. You see that right there. We'll put it back together once I figured out how it worked. I had to make this stupid little rivet. I'll give you an idea how big it is. It's not very big. This is an unedited video. Hope I don't make you sick to your stomach. There's the old one I ground the head off of and beat it out. So I just made a new one out of steel. You don't want to make it out of brass. There's a lot of tension on this thing when it's engaged, and you want this thing, this rascal right here, right? And that's steel. It's not plastic, which surprised me. I thought it would be plastic, but it's not. It needs to be riding on steel. Don't require any lubricant. You can put some oil in it if you want to, but you have to put this together. If you do this, you have to put this together at the same time you're putting this in. Now if yours gets spit out, what's happened is it simply came out of this little holder somewhere or another and got turned around, so I couldn't get it back in there. You have to take it out and take it apart just about to get it back in there. You almost had to build it like that. You can't really just stick this back in there. That's it. Something I forgot to say. When you take this out, just grab both ends of this and pull it apart and stretch that thing out, because it needs a lot of spring tension to hold this. This spring tension is what holds the pressure on this lock to keep it engaged. This little pawl engaged with the teeth on that ratchet gear. So this will be the click of the ratchet, just like a ratchet that you tighten a nut with. It's just a different configuration, but it works exactly the same way. It's loaded with spring tension all the time until you let it off with this. You can strengthen it by just pulling this apart. It's not going to hurt it. You're not going to break it. Don't pull it, 3 feet apart, but pull it apart enough to where it's longer than what it is when you start. When you let go of it, it should be a 1/4 inch longer or so, maybe a little more, whatever you need. Just kind of feel it out. I'd love to have taken this video with a tripod, but I didn't have one handy, and I'm in a hurry to get this thing fixed because there's a thunderstorm brewing. It's Georgia, and it's July, and it's the afternoon, so that means thunderstorm off and on, and I don't want to be out there working in the rain. So here you go. That's that rivet pinned over. I just drilled a center hole in it with a center drill and countersunk it just a little bit to where it'd make this top edge thinner, and I could paint it over with a center punch and then a flat punch. It's good enough to hold this thing. This tab got bent down, so I had to bend that back up so that when this thing comes down, it don't overreach. So if that comes out too far, I think that's what happened to it. It just came unhooked somehow. I don't know how it did it. Don't care how it did it. It just did it, and now I fixed it. And that's all there is to that story.